are an integral part of this company, and we deserve to be treated as such. The days of slavery and serfdom are over. These are not our lords and masters. We are the legs upon which this company stands. And where would Vitor Pharmaceuticals be without its legs? I'll tell you where. On its hands and knees. This strike will show them that we are not going to be bullied or pushed around. We'll get our demands, even if, as union president, I have to go to Mr. High and Mighty Charles Murtaugh himself in order to make myself understood. Are you with me?
There seems to be a bitter disagreement on both sides with no apparent end in sight. There has been no response by management to the strike and no one has received...
Do you feel the strike will last? Well, I couldn't really say. We'll strike as long as we can. We're prepared to be here day and night to fight.
Excuse me, apparently we have a news story. Hello, what's your name, sir? And why have you decided to break ranks with your fellow workers?
My name's not important, and if you really must know, I'm not breaking ranks with the union. I hope they get whatever they want. It's not what I want.
Can't your crossing the picket line be construed as signing with management?
Look, I'm not in league with anybody. People can take my behavior any way they want. I can't do anything about that. I'm late for work. You'll have to excuse me.
The first person brave or foolish enough to cross union lines. But this only opens a whole new set of questions, namely in which camp do Mr. Fitzroy's loyalties actually lie, and how long will it be until others follow his example? Reporting from Toronto for CBC News.
They're making him out to be some sort of hero. This bastard is going to ruin the whole thing. I thought you told me that we had no dissenting members.
That's what I thought, Curly. All the ballots were in favor of the strike. He mustn't have voted.
Well, I think you better pay him a visit tomorrow and set him straight. You know, make up his mind.
He sounded pretty decided to me. What if he won't listen?
Then threaten him. If he has a wife and kids, threaten them. Just do whatever it takes to convince him.
I'm not going to intimidate him.
You'll do what you're told! What do you think this is, Lopez? Some kind of game?
You're the local representative for the union, for God's sake. The people we represent have got families to support. They depend on us to do everything we can to get them the best deal. Have you forgotten that?
No.
Or do you actually think what this Walt guy is doing is okay, crossing the picket line?
No.
Good.
You've got to learn when to give a little bit. Because if you're always pushing, you're either going to break their backs or they'll learn how to push back. You've got to make them think they've got something big from you, when really all you've given them is some piddly little concession you don't give a damn about. Darcy, are you listening to me? You've got to know this if you're going to run things when I retire.
But I've heard all this about 1,000,000 times before. Why don't you ever let me do something?
Because you're not ready.
I'm telling you, I am ready. Let me do something. Give me a chance to prove.
All right, then. You've heard about this little strike going on at one of my companies? We'll see how you handle that. If you do a good job, maybe then I'll give you more responsibility.
You won't be disappointed. I'll have that guy eating out of my hand and the rest of them blowing the company horn before you know it.
You just handle the strike and everything else will take care of itself.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That good-for-nothing toad doesn't care about anybody but himself.
I never trusted him anyway. He was always, too polite, too nice.
Plus, he never does anything with anybody. I've never seen him come in here for a drink. Have you guys?
No.
See? That should have told us something right there. He's probably been one of those management stooges all along.
Come on now, Walt never said anything about being pro-management. In fact, he said he hoped we would get everything we were striking for.
So, you think Walt's right, eh?
No, I never said that.
Sure you did. We all heard you, right?
Or maybe we just misheard you. Maybe you actually said that Walt's in management's pocket.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if he wasn't, he'd be out on the lines with us. Right, guys?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Make sure you don't forget it.
Look, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told all the other reporters. I'm not interested. Leave me alone. I'm not the story, so I have nothing to say to you.
But I'm not a reporter, Mr. Fitzroy. My name is Janice Lopek. I'm your local union representative.
Well, then I think I've got even less to say to you.
No, I think you're wrong. I believe you owe me and the rest of your union an explanation.
Well, I guess I do. Please come in, Miss Lopek. I guess if I had explained myself before all this happened, then this whole situation could have been averted.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, I work for the research department at Vitor Pharmaceuticals, specifically heart medicine. That means that there's a lot of people out there who are depending on me doing my job, and I just can't shirk that responsibility.
What about your responsibility to your union?
My responsibility to the union? What does that mean? So they can get 25 more cents an hour? So I can paint picket signs? Don't get me wrong, I mean, I believe in the union, but the union's gonna do just fine without me. I mean, they'll get something whether I'm striking or not. But those cardiac patients need me much more urgently than you or the union does.
And you're not in bed with management?
I haven't even kissed them goodnight.
You realize everyone thinks you're in their pocket.
Well, I've come to understand that. But I can assure you, there's no lint on me. Couldn't you talk to Curly Tate and sort of work things out? I mean, I'm sure this whole mess could be straightened out if you just talk to him.
You obviously don't know Curly. But okay, I'll see what I can do. I just have to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to do much good.
Why not? I thought you believed me.
I do. I mean, I think you're misguided in not supporting your union, but I respect you for your decision. I respect your reasons. Unfortunately, Curly comes from the old school. He plays hardball, and I'm afraid he's made up his mind with you.
So you're telling me to watch my back?
That would be wise. I don't mean to threaten you, Mr. Fitzroy, but you are swimming in some pretty dangerous water by jumping off the HMS Union. There are sharks out there ready to bite.
Well, thanks. Thanks for the warning and the concern. I'll keep my eyes open.
Good. I'm off to Union headquarters now. I'll be sure to talk to Curly about what you said. I'll let you know.
Thanks again, Miss Lopek.
You're welcome. I mean, it's my job. I represent you. See you later.
Bye. Just a minute. Yes, can I help you?
Well, actually, Mr. Fitzroy, I was hoping we could help each other. I'm Darcy Kilmartin, Mr. Murtaugh's personal assistant. May I come in?
And what does Mr. Murtaugh want with me?
Well, I saw you on the news last night, and you struck me as a professional, confident individual who by his actions indicates that he's much more intelligent than his union colleagues.
You still haven't explained to me what Mr. Murtaugh wants, Ms. Kilmartin.
Well, let's just put it this way. You've already demonstrated your commitment to the company by your actions. I was hoping that perhaps you could mirror it with words.
You want me to toot the company's horn?
Exactly. You see, you become somewhat of a minor celebrity overnight. People will listen to what you have to say.
And without the public support, the union will face desertions and crumble or have to negotiate from a weaker position.
I see we understand each other.
No, we don't understand each other at all, Ms. Kilmartin. If you saw me on the news the other day, as you say, then you're aware of the fact that I won't align myself with any faction.
Of course, you will be rewarded for your loyalty to the company. A promotion. A raise in pay. A car. Whatever you want. What do you want?
To be left alone, Ms. Kilmartin. You can't buy me. I won't be anybody's stooge. Yours, Murtaugh's, or anyone else's. I just want to be allowed to do my job.
Well, that's a job that you might have not much longer, Mr. Fitzroy.
Is that a threat?
I haven't even gotten around to threatening you yet.
Well, let me save you the time and trouble, Ms. Kilmartin. Why don't you just go back to Mr. Murtaugh and tell him that he's wasting his time? I can't be bought.
This has nothing to do with Mr. Murtaugh. I'm in charge here, and this is between you and me.
Well, then I think that makes it even clearer, Miss. I think it's time that you left. I don't think we have anything else to say to each other. Oh. Good day.
You'll regret this, Fitzroy.
Probably.
Well, is he going to toe the line or what?
Well, no.
What? Why the hell not?
He's an idealist.
What the hell does that mean?
One who lives by high standards of principles?
I know what the goddamn word means. What does it mean in this case?
It means he's a dedicated individual who's more concerned about saving the lives of those who depend on him than he is of his own. Or ours.
Did you try to buy his cooperation?
No, it wouldn't work. He doesn't think the same way we do.
How about threatening him? Did you do that?
Sort of.
Sort of? What does that mean?
It means I told him what you might do if he didn't support the union.
And?
And nothing. I told you. He doesn't think the same way we do. His motivations are completely different from ours.
Jesus. We have a martyr on our hands. All right, then. He's had his warning. Fusco, Gellert, I want you to pay our friend Walt a visit. Maybe a little force applied to the right places might convince Mr. Fitzroy where words do not.
You can't do that.
Oh, no? Just watch me. Okay?
it. He only cares about himself. What else can you say about someone who shows no loyalty to his union?
But isn't he showing his support for management by crossing the picket lines?
Hardly. If he felt that way, he'd come out and say it. The truth is that Walt Fitzroy is viewed as a Judas by his union and a scab by management. He has the respect of no one and the disdain of all.
So, now we can add Darcy Kilmartin's surprising condemnation on behalf of Vitor's management to the howls of denunciation heaped upon him by his union. Fitzroy has gone from the man that everyone wants to the man that nobody wants. Chris Sanders, CRTA, Toronto.
You have a lot to learn about negotiating. Lopez.
Face it, he only cares about himself. What else can you say about someone who shows no loyalty to his union?
But isn't he showing his support for management by crossing the picket lines?
Hardly. If he felt that way, he'd come out and say it. The truth is that Walt Fitzroy is viewed as a Judas by his union and a scab by management. He has the respect of no one and the disdain of all.
So, now we can add Darcy Kilmartin's surprising condemnation on behalf of Vitor's management to the howls of denunciation heaped upon him by his union. Fitzroy has gone from the man that everyone wants to the man that nobody wants.
And while the vilification of Walt Fitzroy continues in union and management circles, the mood on the street is quite different.
Well, you know, I think Walt's a real hero. I mean, he's standing up for all of us regular folks who get pushed around all the time. What can I say? He's an inspiration to everybody. Like Walt says, I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Fritz! Yeah, I think this Fritz guy's okay. I've had a heart problem for close to 10 years now, and I've always bought my medicine from Vitor. But not anymore. Not until they do right by Fritz. And let me tell you, I've got a lot of friends that do the same.
Actually, I've begun a petition with some of my co-workers and neighbors. None of us are going to buy products from Vitor or any other company owned by Murdoch, unless Walt is given a fair shake and this whole strike thing is over. We care about Walt, because he cares about us.
So there seems to be a huge groundswell of support building for Walt Fitzroy, a man who until 2 days ago was unknown. And the big loser here could turn out to be Murtaugh Industries. Reports indicate that overnight sales have slipped drastically due to the consumer ban, and the Dow Jones reports a huge drop in the price of Murtaugh shares as well. What do you think, Wendy?
I agree with that last woman, Peter. I think Walt really does care. And now here's Jeff with the weather.
Thanks, Wendy. Checking the local weather map for today.
I can't believe this guy. He's become a bigger hero than ever. They're supposed to hate him. I hate him. Management hates him. The union hates him. But they love him. Well, he's not going to get away with it. I won't let him.
What about the union, boss?
Huh? Screw the union. This is bigger than the union. This is between me and Fitz.
Don't you think you're taking things a little too far with this guy, boss?
Now you listen to me. Fitzroy's made me look like a laughingstock in front of Murtaugh. And he's not going to get away with it. I'm through playing around. He's going to find out what happens when you mess with Darcy Kilmartin. If he won't bend, let's see if he'll break. Come on, boys. I think we should pay Mr. Fitzroy a little visit.
Maybe you ought to stay here, boss. You don't want to be too involved.
I'm going there. I want to see him begging me to make a deal. Okay, boys, let's go.
I don't care if you're all right. You gotta keep your mouth shut, or Fusco and Gullet will shut it for you.
I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut, and I'm tired of being pushed around by those two. They don't scare me anymore.
Keep your voice down, for God's sake. Everybody'll hear you.
Good. Let him hear. It's about time you guys started cleaning the wax out of your ears and started listening to what's being said around here. If Walt is in with the suits, why is management calling him a scab?
Well, maybe it's just a ploy to get close to us. You know, Fusco and Gullet say.
Screw Fusco and Gullet. What do you say? What? I want to know why you think Walt's a traitor. And I'm going to sit here and let you all try to convince me. And I'm going to tell you why I think he's okay. And why it's Curly Tate and the testosterone twins that are the ones you should be really wondering about.
You can't keep me here against my will.
Sure I can. There's a whole room full of people outside that door that'll do anything I tell them. You're not going anywhere.
That's only because they're afraid of you. Doesn't it bother you that they don't respect you?
Well, fear is a form of respect, and an effective one.
No, it's not. Can't you see what you've done here? You've taken the whole idea of what a union is supposed to be and twisted it into some sort of perverted kingdom and made yourself out to be its absolute ruler. You don't give a shit about the people you claim to represent. If you did, you'd treat them with a little bit more respect.
That's some speech, Lopek. I guess some of Walt's high-minded notions and ideals must have rubbed off on you. But it's going to do you as much good as it's probably doing him right now. Oh, yeah.
What a day. Look at that.
You had to push me, didn't you, Fitzroy? You had to see how much you could get away with.
What are you talking about? I didn't force you to do anything.
Yes, yes you did. Only you're too blind or too noble or just too fucking stupid to realize it. Who do you think you're dealing with here? Do you think I'm just some silly little girl they sent in to tidy things up?
No.
Well, listen, I tried to spare you from this. Why didn't you listen to me?
You what? Tried to spare me? You didn't do anything at all. I did listen to you. You're the one who didn't listen. I told you I couldn't do what you asked me and live with myself.
Well, living with yourself is something you're not going to have to worry about much longer unless you cooperate right now. You remember I told you you'd regret your decision, Mr. Fitzroy? Carbone? Hinkle?
Hey, what are you guys doing? Don't you
Fitzroy!
What in God's name? That's enough. Get out! Is this how you handle a strike? Threatening people, destroying apartments, and going ballistic on national television? What the hell do you think this is accomplishing?
I was just...
Will you just shut up? Shut up and listen for once. All you had to do was come in here and quietly settle the strike with the union. Instead, you start some sort of personal vendetta with somebody who doesn't really matter one way or the other. All you've done is cost me millions on the stock market, undermined the public's faith in Murtaugh products, and put me in a weak bargaining position. You haven't heard one word I've said, have you, for the last 5 years about how to handle people or power? I'm very disappointed in you. But I'm gonna have to deal with you later. Right now, I'm gonna have to handle things personally around here. I've gotta plug this hole quickly before the whole ship sinks. All right, let's go.
Get out of those chairs. We need to sit down. Didn't you hear me? Get out of those chairs.
What's going on?
Listen, we've discussed things amongst ourselves and we've decided we're just not gonna take your crap anymore.
Son! Look, we've been talking, we've decided Walt ain't in nobody's pocket. He needs to stand up for himself and doing what he thinks is right. Something we should have done a long time ago.
Anyway, we're gonna make up for that now. We've already drafted up a petition calling for your expulsion from the union, and Curly's too.
All right then. I think that's the last item on the agenda. If everything seems amenable to you, I'll have my lawyers draft up the papers and I'll send them over tomorrow.
Well, I still have to put it before the union, but I'm sure we can accept those terms.
You do realize that this whole thing is contingent upon the union expelling Walt.
Wait, what? But you can't do that.
After all, Walt has no loyalty, and that's what this union is all about. Of course, if he's not union, he could be fired rather easily.
Yes, a few years down the road when no one remembers who he is, or even cares. I think we understand each other. We'll be taking our leave. Darcy?
I can't believe you're going to do this. You can't fire Walt. He's the only innocent person in all of this.
Well, if you've got such a problem with it, you could always join him.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but you're right. I quit.
Well, say goodbye to your boyfriend for me.
This is all going to blow up in your face.
Oh, yeah, right!
Oh,
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I can't say so much for my place, though, or your two big union friends.
I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. You've been kicked out of the union.
I know. Oh, Curly Tate called just before you got here. I guess he didn't want you to spoil his fun.
You don't seem to be too upset about it.
I knew I'd be fired when I crossed the picket line. It was something I was prepared to live with.
I quit my job.
I hope you didn't do it over me.
Well, you certainly played a part in it. It just came to the point where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. I didn't like what I saw. Does that make any sense?
Makes perfect sense. There'll be other jobs. In the meantime, at least we'll be able to live with ourselves.
Boss? There's, some people here to see us.
Tell them to get lost. I'm not seeing anybody tonight.
Oh, I think you'll see us.
What's going on?
A lot. I think you better sit down for this.